Welcome back everyone. I just want to say thank you guys for the recent support. In this video we will be going through what happened in season 1 of House of the Dragon, including laying out family trees and major plot points. Stay tuned until the end of the video to find out what you can expect for season 2, but don't worry, there won't be any major spoilers. In the first episode we see Viseris as the king of the Seven Kingdoms. He's the 5th king in history, going back 102 years prior to the first king Aegon the Conqueror, who ruled for 36 years. The second was Aenys, who ruled for 5 years. The third was Maegor the Cruel, who ruled for 6 years. And the fourth was Jaehaerys I, who ruled for 55 years and was the grandfather to Viserys and Rhaenys. Jaehaerys' sons died during his reign, which left his succession in question. Although Rhaenys was older and technically would have the better claim to the throne, Viserys was awarded the crown because he's a man, and during those times, the lords wouldn't respect a woman as queen. This theme gets passed on as the show begins, as Viserys has been ruling for 9 years now and still doesn't have a son. His wife Aemma is pregnant for what seems like the last possible time, making the pressure of producing an heir even higher. She does have a son, but he dies due to complications along with Aemma, and Viserys names his daughter Rhaenyra as heir as he has no other choice. We're also introduced to King Viserys' brother Daemon, who is the hot-headed leader of the City Watch and obviously arrogant. In my opinion, he's the best character in the show, but at first you're meant to not like him. We're also introduced to Viserys' hand, Otto Hightower, who is underratedly clever and seems to want some power for himself. Otto's daughter Alicent is best friends with Rhaenyra, and their relationship is essentially the main storyline of the entire series. In episode 2, we get more narratives of Daemon being out of control, as the episode is titled The Rogue Prince, alluding to the fact that technically Daemon has a claim for the throne, as Rhaenyra is a woman and therefore in some people's eyes can't rule. Since Viserys' wife died, there's increasing pressure for him to remarry and produce a male heir, although people can't really say that out loud as technically Rhaenyra is the heir. We see Otto telling his daughter to visit the king while he's grieving, as he's obviously planning for Alicent to marry the king, cementing his family into royalty. I don't want to spend too much time on these early episodes because there's a lot of character development, which is good, but not entirely important to the overall story of the series. When episode 3 starts, we see that Alicent had a child with King Viserys, and it's a boy, although Viserys continues to assure Rhaenyra that she will remain heir. Viserys is also trying to find someone for Rhaenyra to marry, but she obviously likes Sir Criston Cole, who is basically her bodyguard. Daemon fights this guy with a mask and wins, and that's really all there is in episode 3. In episode 4, Daemon and Rhaenyra sneak out to see the city, things get a little weird and sexual, and then Rhaenyra gets back to her room all horned up and lays with Criston Cole. Otto finds out that Rhaenyra and Daemon were getting weird and tells Viserys, but Viserys doesn't believe it and gets mad at Otto and sends him away. Daemon gets sent off too and kills his wife, which frees him up for marriage, and in episode 5 we're introduced to Larry Strong, who's a weird dude with a foot fetish, and we'll get back to what he does soon because he starts to have a crucial role in the end of the season. Rhaenyra ends up marrying one of Lord Corlys' sons who is gay, but they have a mutual agreement. Criston Cole tells Alicent that he slept with Rhaenyra for no reason, just a dumb move by him, and at this point you could see Viserys' health start to decline. Episode 6 is when we get a time jump, as the episode starts with an older Rhaenyra just birthing a child, who by its skin complexion is obviously not the child of Rhaenyra and Laenor, but of someone else. We see Rhaenyra's other children along with Alicent and Viserys' children getting their dragon, and the beef between the two families is starting to heat up as the children mess with each other. Sir Criston Cole is an asshole now as he's mad at Rhaenyra for not running away with him, so he's mean to her kids. It's pretty obvious at this point that Rhaenyra's children are bastards, and it pisses a lot of people off that the king ignores it. At the end of this episode, Alicent starts discussing with Larys again, and they plan on how to get Alicent and her children power over the throne. Larys then kills his father and brother, Lionel Strong, who is the king's hand, and Harwin Strong, who is the real father of Rhaenyra's children, by setting Harrenhal on fire. And after this, Otto Hightower comes back as the king's hand. Episode 7 is basically just more conversations, except Rhaenyra and Daemon end up banging now, and now they like each other and want to get married, which was pretty expected, although they both have kids of their own now. The children start beefing again, and Rhaenyra's son Viserys stabs Aemon, Alicent's son, in the eye. This starts a whole thing where Alicent wants payback, and all this is just to show the increasing tension between the two families, especially as Viserys is getting closer to death. Rhaenyra and Daemon plan to kill Rhaenyra's husband Laenor so they could get married to each other, and a guy comes in and they start fighting, and you think he's dead because they show his body burned, but in reality he shaved his head and left to start a new life elsewhere. We're almost done with the recap, so bear with me, but if you found this useful so far, please consider subscribing. There's another time jump now in episode 8. Rhaenyra's children are older now, and her and Daemon have children of their own. They come to King's Landing again, and Viseris is in really bad shape now, which basically leaves Otto and Alicent running the show. There's more beef with the kids, and Viseris still tells Rhaenyra that she'll be queen one day, and not to forget Aegon the Conqueror's dream about the Song of Ice and Fire. But Viseris tells Alicent about this dream, but Alicent thinks he means her son, and believes that Viseris wants her son to be king now because he says Aegon. So at the beginning of episode 9, we found out that Viseris died, and now Alicent and Otto plan to take the throne because they think Viseris told her that her son should be king and not Rhaenyra. They make all the lords swear to be loyal to their son Aegon, and this is essentially the whole point of the show, is the war between Alicent and Rhaenyra that's going to come. Aegon has his coronation, and obviously Rhaenyra won't be happy about it. Rhaenys shows up on her dragon and puts her support in Rhaenyra. So at the start of episode 10, we see Rhaenyra's reaction to learning about Viserys' death and Aegon's coronation. Her and Daemon are obviously pissed, but Rhaenyra's baby is coming, and Daemon's too focused on planning what they're going to do instead of helping her. Rhaenyra's child did not make it, but she does get her crown. They meet up with Otto and negotiate, but Rhaenyra won't recognize Aegon as king. They plan on going to the houses to get their support. They send Viserys north to the Eyrie and then to Winterfell, and they send Lucerys to go south to Storm's End to the Baratheons, but when he gets there, Aemond is already there. Lord Baratheon basically tells Lucerys to fuck off, and when he leaves, Aemond follows him with his dragon. Aemond's dragon goes out of control and eats and kills Lucerys and his dragon, essentially starting an all-out war and ending the first season. And that scene was crazy. Now obviously that was a lot to take in, but if you watched season 1 already, you should remember most of the plot points I talked about. Now in terms of season 2, I don't want to spoil anything, but the information is out there because it's all in the book George R.R. Martin wrote. If you are interested, you could look up the kings of the 7 kingdoms and see how long they reign and who comes after them to see how this war plays out. Another confirmed storyline in season 2 is about blood and cheese, which I won't fully get into, but if you want to read about it, it will spoil season 2. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and season 2 is right around the corner. Let me know in the comments if you want more uploads like this, and subscribe to stay notified for any future uploads.